Hello, and welcome to Eliza Labs Builder Demo Tutorial Series. Today, we have Toby from Fleek introducing his plugin and sharing a little bit about how you can make use of it. He's going to be running through how to use the Firecrawl plugin with your Eliza agents to build a web scraping and search feature within your agent. Toby, thank you so much for joining us today. And it's great to have you here and to learn a bit more around what you've built from a plugin perspective. Just wondered if you wanted to introduce yourself quickly and share what you're up to maybe at Fleek and around the space.
Hi, Ben. Thank you for inviting me and bringing me on. Hello, everyone. I'm Toby Loba, and I'm a software engineer and developer relations engineer at Fleek. So, yeah, my experience, I've been building software and technology and working around dev tools for about 4 years now. So, I'm excited to be here today to talk to you about the Firecrawl plugin I worked on.
Amazing. And before we jump in, what was the reason or the inspiration for you to put this plugin together? Just out of curiosity, 'cause I'm excited to learn more about it. It looks super interesting. But yeah, just wondering what your why was.
Yeah, so the Firecrawl plugin came to, it was something that came to the team and that I wanted to explore for like a possibility of getting an AI agent to be empowered with the capabilities. Firecrawl has these features where they can scrape any website or search any information online, and then they
Mm,
are able to like process the outputs or the search results in an LLM readable or ingestible form. So yeah, it was just a really cool project to. It was a really cool idea to be like, okay, why not make this analyzer plugin so that AI agents could be empowered with this?
amazing. Okay, and on that note, that seems like a good segue into your tutorial presentation and demo. So
Yeah,
yeah, the stage is yours. I'll bring up your slides just now, and feel free to take it away.
yeah. Thank you. Hi everyone. I'm Toby Loba, and you can find me on Twitter at Toby Solutions. So I'll be walking you through building the Firecrawl plugin. Yeah, so overview of the Firecrawl plugin. What is the Firecrawl plugin? So yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the Firecrawl API has like so many cool abilities where you are able to scrape, search, extract details from any website, from the web, or from any web application online. As long as somewhere on the web, you can actually scrape or crawl it with Firecrawl and get that information back in in an LLM readable form. So what I did was to build a service wrapper around that API. Service wrapper, like I mentioned, if you are aware with plugins and how they work, you have to implement a plugin service that you then implement certain methods for that actions then call. So I implemented a service that was working directly with that API. Um, I was able to also get the responses back and help Eliza figure out what to do with that detail. So I wrote all this in code within the service and the actions. So yeah, it provides web scraping, web crawling, web search functionalities. So you can actually have a conversation with your agent and talk to it about, oh, hey, can you help me check this.com? Can you tell me what is on something.dev? And it can just give you that details back and it just has responds to you. You're having a conversation and it's aware of that website. So it just scripts it or it searches on it and it gives you details back. So it simplifies websites, data extraction. So yeah, basically in the implementation, like I mentioned earlier, you get website data extraction in a very understandable format back, like you're conversing with somebody even. So yeah, key features and endpoints. So core features, the service. So you just have to provide one API key, which is your Firecrawl API key. And that's all you need. And you just add the plugin to your character file or something. A web scraping can extract data from any single web page, or a web crawling. You can also gather data from multiple pages as well, or searching in short. So yeah, let me give you a walkthrough of the code of how I built the Firecrawl service. Like I mentioned earlier, base URL for the Firecrawl API right there. Now in my service, I wrote this great Firecrawl service function that takes in the API key. And I wrote some types as well because TypeScript as well, TypeScript stuff demands it. Checking the API key and your URL, like this, we are scraping, provide a URL as well. Make an HTTP request to that endpoint, passing in your URL as the body. And then the data that comes back, I basically just return it. So this is the service. Same for the search as well. Pass in your query and then I return the data that comes back. Now I implemented actions for both. So these are the actions. This is the one for get script, the name of the action that gets triggered. Some similes that could help. relate to the action in case you're having a conversation with your agent and Eliza needs to figure out if whether or not it needs to call your action, even if you've added a plugin. So it needs to include those like trigger words or triggers around your action. So yeah, the description as well is to be very detailed and directed. They're including things like the generate text function as well as some templates to help your agent interpret the response that comes back. So you need to, for example, with this script data prompt I just mentioned, you are an expert in summarizing data fetched from Firecrawl script data scraper. Use a script data for your website. This will be links and metadata which you have to use to give a meaningful response because you are still going to have to prompt the LLM or the model provider that is added to your character file or in the agent's runtime to then take whatever data that comes back, which mostly will be JSON, and then interpret it in a readable format. Um, so yeah, let's get how the actions work. I included some examples as well. So maybe to give the actions more context. Most of these are like just Eliza standards and conventions for implementing your own plugin. You need to have some examples as well to help the agents give more context and more context. Most of the code with writing a plugin is just context, because you need your agent to function as you would expect it to, because it will be conversation based, it will be like prompt based. You prompt the agents, it responds back to you, but the agents can perform certain actions autonomously and stuff. So yeah, this is the index, the entry file to the plugin. Basically, include these actions there so that at runtime, the actions are loaded with your plugin. Other than that, all you have to do next is to ensure that you include your plugin in the package.json for your agent, or maybe like you can just do a pm install fix log file or something, and this gets added automatically. But it's always like best to check here to ensure that your plugin has been added to your agent's runtime and your agent is aware that the plugin does exist. You probably get some errors thrown at you, but it's just like some best practices. So yeah, other than that, using the plugin is really straightforward. Apologies for dragging this out. I was just trying to hide my API keys. Yeah, I could have just removed them. All you have to do is add your Firecrawl API key, like I said, include the Firecrawl plugin down here, elizaOS plugin Firecrawl, and I'm using it with the C3PO templates character file, so you can use it anywhere you want to as well. I have Discord as a client, OpenAI as my model provider, and yeah, include your Discord auth. Auth is like for your application ID and API token to use the Discord clients. And yeah, all you have to worry about when using the Firecrawl service or plugin is just the API key. But I can demo it as well. So to demo it,
Okay.
all you have to do is run this command and we'll call this character file directly, which is the C3PO one. So C3PO.character. So adding the plugin, I've already added the plugin to my character file, started my character file. I can just look around to see if I have Firecrawl. So yeah, now I did a terminal search on my agent that I just ran to check if I had anything in Firecrawl, and I saw that I have the get script data Firecrawl service. Sure, the search one is us. Yeah, and we can see that I loaded the Firecrawl plugin as well in there.
Right.
So yeah, so now you can just go to Discord and interact with your agent directly. Let me show you. Or do you have any questions before that?
I'm sat here curious around your most exciting use cases for this. I think
Yeah.
I see a few, but would love to hear what you'd like to see it being used in. And yeah, I think that's a good first question.
So yeah, some of the use cases for this, I think for the research agent, maybe study agent or domain expert agents, for example. Domain expert is a broad terminology. So let's say
Right.
an AI expert agent or a football expert agent or literally anything along those lines, because basically empower your agents with the ability to scrape and um, get data from anywhere. The next thing you have to ensure is that you have a very solid character file that gives your agent every context that it will need. With this plugin, you should be able to build any kind of domain expert agent or any research agent that you want. Yeah.
Can it augment the character file? Can the results from the file crawl feed into the character itself? If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it does. It
Yeah.
does, yeah. So
Interesting.
it takes all those data back. If it goes into the agent's runtime, the plugin as well would be aware of that context and it should be
Yep.
able to model and adapt to the agent's lore or the agent's style
Mm.
and vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I think that's quite an interesting flywheel. And from the tutorial looks amazing. So I think all of that makes sense. What plugins do you think would complement this plugin? Where do
Uh,
you think it could be used alongside different integrations or setups?
yeah, so I feel like I've been working on like a bunch of plugins.
Mm,
And one plugin that I'm actually working on at the moment that is exciting. I wanted to add it to, I actually made a PR to add it to the registry the other day, but I'm still adding more actions. I would say is the Composio plugin. So I worked on this plugin using a service called Composio that enables your agents with like several actions and function and tool calling. So you can actually use any service directly with your agents. You can use like Gmail from your agent. You can use Google Calendar from your agent. You can use GitHub, like GitHub as in maybe you can start a repo, you can maybe create a repo, fork a repo directly with your
interesting.
AI agents. So that's one I think would be really complementary to this because then your agency empowered with like several abilities to know information and then use the information that it knows to do something.
Mm, interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. Yeah, Toby, no more questions for myself. Toby, once again, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to see you walk through this and get to know a bit more on what you've been up to.
Yeah.
And thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.